Today on the American Beer Drinker, we visit Pedals and Pints. Let's go take a look. Located in the city of Thousand Oaks, the brewery is approximately 2 hours from downtown Los Angeles. Located adjacent to the Oaks Shopping Center, the brewery is located in an old Red Lobster building. I sat down with head brewer at Pedals and Pints, Boris, to get some insights on the brewery. So what's your background in brewing? Where did you come from before?
Just as a home brewer, just understanding how brewing works, a little bit of the science behind it, but hands-on at a brewery, never had experience until I came on as a cellarman. But when you are a cellarman, the work you do is the same work as essentially a head brewer.
Right.
The difference is you're just not actively making beer. You're just in support of making beer.
Okay.
And then as you get better, you start to progress to the making of beer as a cellarman / assistant brewer. Because even as a head brewer now, there are times where I will do what a cellarman does because it's just part of the job. But it just comes with experience.
What's popular right now beer-wise? I mean, are hazies still the thing? Or?
Hazies are still popular, but I would venture to guess lower alcohol beers are starting to really be kind of in demand. I think people are kind of over the high ABV train or ride that was going on for a while. You know, an IPA at 7.5%, a hazy at 7.5%, like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think some are over it. So I am trying to inject more beers that are under like 5.5%, 6%, but are still full flavored. They drink like they're higher in alcohol, but you just don't feel like crap the next day.
I did notice that you guys, you can several of your beers.
Yes.
Is that something you do in-house, or is it more of a, like, truck comes here and that kind of deal? Is it canned?
Actually, both. So we have a company, Boom Hut Canning.
Yeah.
It's a mobile canning team and unit. So he comes with a box bread truck.
Right.
And in it has all
the whole setup,
the whole canning line. And it's a canning line that can be erected in any brewery that would have a canning line. So it's the same exact one that you would find at a production brewery. But he just collapses it, puts it in a truck, and goes from brewery to brewery.
Damn.
So he comes in on, it's usually a Monday for us. We shut down the tap room until 5. And then from 8 or 9 a.m. till we are done, we just can off beer after beer, brand after brand.
So what's the preparation for that? Do you, like, okay, we're going to be canning coming up?
Yep, I have to figure out what we're going to can.
Right.
How many cases of what we're going to can. And then I have to do a label count, so I have to figure out how many labels to order.
Right.
Or have our owner order. So we have enough labels for the cases that we're canning. Make the beer that is going to be for the canning day, and have it be ready to go, carbonated, the whole 9 yards, by that day. So production ramps up, but I also have to plan almost immediately after canning or right before canning to rebrew the beers that we are about to can.
I was just going to say, you got to replenish.
We serve out of tanks here, so those same tanks are where we're canning from. So we're taking the allotment for taproom sales out to can. So because we're taking some out of the same tank,
right,
I have to replenish. So some of the beers that we will can, we're going to brew the week before or the week after, so we don't run out here in the taproom.
Wow.
This is really where any brewery makes their money, is inside their own facility, their tap room or their production facility with a tap room. So if we run out of here, we're not technically making money off of some beer. So it's a lot of work. It's definitely the busiest times. The month and a half to 2 months prior to canning, we are extremely busy because I am figuring out the brew schedule, figuring out when beer could potentially be done. And the goal is just to have that product be ready to go by the Saturday before we can. I mean, that's kind of the goal.
Wow.
So it gets a little hectic. It's a lot of, I like to call it brewery Tetris, finding pieces that fit.
Right.
Because, and the way you clear a line like you do in the game Tetris would be the canning day.
Right.
Or where all our beers are ready to go, they're lined up, and they get cleared out for canning. So that's kind of how I like to visualize it, is playing Tetris, put the beer in very specific spots, have them line up the week before we can. So I know the day we can, I can clear that line.
Perfect.
And I'm good. I don't have to, once canning's done, I can kind of rest a little easier. It's still busy, but it's like, cool, we did it.
Yeah.
We got the amount of cases we wanted. We didn't run out of beer. And we still have beer in reserve or extra beers in kegs. And since we do have a little bit of a distribution footprint, I still have to keep in mind, like, hey, now that these are being canned, these are going to go out into distribution. So to plan ahead, I'm already planning another canning day even before we've canned the next one, because I know what beers are selling better in distribution. So it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I love it. I have no desire to go do anything other than this.
Good. So you guys you serve food here. Is there a kitchen or?
Yep.
Okay.
We do have a kitchen in the back.
Because I had a pizza and I'm like, wow, they make this in the back, or is that it?
Yeah. We have a pizza, like a 2-tier pizza oven.
Okay.
We have a 6-burner stove, which also has an oven on it. We have a huge, I don't know the size, but it's a pretty big, proper Texas pit barbecue smoker in the back.
Oh, wow.
So it's a dual segment. You have your cabinet, and then you have your box for all the wood. And we smoke everything. We use California oak. So almost every protein. Yes, actually every protein except for hot dogs are all smoked.
Wow.
So our Louisiana hot link is smoked, brisket, clearly. The meatloaf sandwich, that is brisket meat grounded up, that is smoked. Yeah. Pastrami, we smoke the pastrami. We have spare ribs, St. Louis style. We have pulled pork, so that's pork butt smoked.
Nice.
The Louisiana hot link, already said that. We have chicken wings that are smoked. Whole chicken is smoked.
Jeez.
Half chickens are smoked. Chicken thigh or chicken leg platter, because we just launched a new menu today. So there's now a platter of just a chicken leg and thigh combo.
Oh, wow.
And then we have carnitas, so that actually is the only other protein. So the hot dog and the carnitas. The carnitas are just braised. But everything else is smoked in the back. Yeah, we are smoking 3 to 4 days a week.
Wow, that's
so
fantastic.
The only day we aren't is the day we are cleaning the smoker. Our kitchen staff takes care of that once a week. And I want to say that's either a Friday or a Monday. And then the weekends we don't smoke. But yeah, we have almost a full kitchen. We don't have a fryer. So, yeah, we don't have a proper grill.
Yeah.
Which is why we don't have burgers. But yeah.
So what's future plans for this place? Expansion? Some new beers coming out?
Within the footprint of this place, we have goals to put 2 more fermentation tanks in the back to aid with production of our best-selling beers, which are right now our Lizard Rock, which is our West Coast style IPA, and then our Single Speed, which is our American Light Lager. Because those are moving so quickly, we're pushing the capacity with it. We have to line up each beer almost immediately after the first one is packaged and or made, and because it's selling that quickly.
Wow.
So by having a bigger fermenter in the back, we can fill it with more beer, which will give us a more finished beer in the end, and keep up the demand for the tap room and also for cans.
Beautiful.
Because the West Coast IPA is our best-selling canned beer too. The Single Speed moves just fine, but it definitely moves faster than the tap room.
Yeah, I actually bought a 4-pack.
We use it in our micheladas, so it's the base beer unless a customer requests a different beer. So
Cool.
even if we don't sell a beer properly and we sell a michelada, we're still selling a pint of Single Speed. So it basically is selling itself twice throughout the week.
Perfect.
And every Monday I do our inventory on beer, and I can see how I track it week to week, Monday to Monday, or I should say Sunday to Monday, and I can see how much beer is being sold. So I can see that Single Speed is usually almost always like, let's say, 2 barrels a week.
Yeah.
A barrel of it is mathematically for a michelada. So, and on that, because of that, the expansion is to get a bigger fermenter, allow us to make more of that beer, so we always have it on demand.
Perfect.
But that's not cheap. It's expensive. It's a lot of work. We
Yeah.
have to figure out how to pipe in all the necessary attachments to the tanks so we can ferment into
Yeah.
it. And then also considering that tank's got to get clean after we ferment into it. So making it easier for us and the brew staff to work, because that tank will have to go outside.
Yeah.
Which then means we need power so we can use the pump that we use to clean. We have to have hose, so we have to have running water in that area. Like, it's a lot of logistics, which wasn't or weren't in the original plans. So now we have to kind of like
Adapt to
use
that.
what
Yeah.
we have and adapt to it, and
Yeah.
make sure that it's still safe to do it. Because if
Yeah.
it is unsafe, then there's no reason to put it. If it means we find a second place where it becomes only a production facility, no tap room, and this becomes a tap room,
Yeah.
and this brewery here becomes the seasonal brew house, and that becomes the full-on production for all the
Right.
core beers, then that's something we'll need to look at. At 5 years, and now that we've ramped up distribution, it's a possibility that a second production facility will be in the works. But with the new menu options, we have to kind of like, and the owner and I, Brad, we have to have a discussion on the beer part of it, because now that kind of we've adapted our menu to where very different than what it was when I first started, in a good way, in a much better way. He wants to now focus on the beer part and discuss with me, do I feel we need 2 more tanks? Do I feel that a production facility is now needed?
Yeah.
Potentially a small little canning unit for us here, so then we can can whenever we need to can, instead of hiring Boom Hut to come in every 2 or 3 months. Not that there's anything wrong with them coming in, it's just we're going on their schedule because he is in high demand, because canning lines are not cheap. They're $150,000 per. So not everybody has that laying around, and we don't even have the space for his size. So this little one, they do make a single one where you can just can 1 beer. I want to say the rate is like maybe 12 beers a minute. It's not fast, but when you're really more or less restocking for the tap room and for the little bit of distro, that's enough. Me and the staff can come in on any other Monday, just like we do for our normal canning days,
Right.
and sit there right off the tank and just can off 15 cases of beer. Now we have 15 cases. That'll last us, a month and a half. And then another time we do another brand.
Yeah.
We just keep labels on hand and cans on hand, and we're good to go. So things like that are kind of on the table to discuss with him and see where we can go. So as far as I know, since I took over as head brewer, the change, because that always is a thing too when breweries change brewers and
Right.
brewers, beer sometimes does change. But I never had aspirations to change all our beers because there's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
The sales and the feedback was already positive. Why, if it ain't broke, why fix it?
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
what I wanted to do is just introduce my style of brewing and what I like to make, but also understand, it may or may not sell.
I just had the dark lager.
Oh yeah, our Schwartz beer, yeah.
I like
Yeah.
things like that. Mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, that one, because the prejudice of dark beers, I would say, is like they're all heavy, they're thick. Everyone thinks of Guinness instantly, and a Schwartz beer is the complete opposite.
Totally, yeah.
It's just dark in color. It's
Really good.
Really light bodied, but still refreshing. It just happens to have a touch more flavor than your pale lagers.
Right.
That's it. And once we got that part, as soon as somebody tastes it, because again, they think dark beer heavy, and then they're like, oh, this is actually, and then they get a pint, and then they continuously drink it.
Yeah.
I love that. Like, I love seeing it. If I'm up front,
Yeah.
and I hear, can I just try it? And then they're, oh, wow, that's really good. Never
really
mind.
good,
Can I
yeah.
get that? So that warms my heart, because that's now that prejudice is gone. They're like, oh, well, a short beer should taste like this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I love that. And I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you.
That was great. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one.